Hi everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. I'm Kishore and I'm here to solve a classic Sudoku created by Sktx. The title of the Sudoku is No Entry and I spotted this classic on the CTC Discord server. You can find the link to solve this in the description of the video. And before I start solving, if you have been enjoying what we do on the channel, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and also consider supporting us on Patreon. We released some rewards for our Patreons, namely Wisteria Fall and Lud Altwater 3 last month. There were 2 alphabet Sudokus in their names, and this month too we are planning something. Unlike last month, this month's rewards will be behind the Patreon paywall. So if you really are interested in what we do, please support the channel on Patreon and we'll be happy to give rewards. And this month's reward will be mostly doppelganger Sudokus. That's what we are planning. So we'll update you once it's posted. Now on to the Sudoku. Normal classic rules apply. Each row, each column and 3x3 box in the grid has digits 1 to 9 without repetitions. And by the way, this is not a live solve. I attempted this classic some time back and it took me a lot of time, about 50 minutes to complete it. So I thought it would be excellent for a video, and it is a very hard classic. And I hope I get some good feedbacks about alternative solve paths. That would be really interesting to know. So I'll start the Sudoku now. One is in row 7 and row 8, and that gives me a 1 here, which in turn gives me a 1 in column 2. So 1 is not in row 5, 1 is not in column 9, so that gives me a 1 here. And if you look at the rest of the boxes, there are many positions where the 1 can get into. For example, box 3 has 3 possible places, box 5 has 4, so we'll move to the next digit. 2. There are only 2 2s in the grid and it doesn't make sense to keep looking for 2s given that there are only 2 given 2s. So let's go to the 3s. 3s are in even bad shape. You can say there is only one solitary 3 in the grid, so I don't think you can get anything with this. And just like the 3s, you will notice that there is only 1 4 and 1 5 in the grid, so nothing much can be done. Let's go to 6. There are 3 6s in the grid, so I can place the 6 in row 4. It goes in one of these 2 cells. 6 is not in column 7 and 6 is not in row 3, so that gives a 6 in this diagonally connected cells. 6 in box 1 has 3 options. Box 7, even more options. Box 9, again 4 options. So just making sure that I'm not missing any pencil marks of 6. Okay, nothing much there. Let me go to 7s. So 7 is giving me a digit here. It can't be in row 4, it cannot be in column 1. So 7 goes here, and that gives a 7 in column 2, which puts a 7 in here. And now if you notice, 7 has 3 locations in box 8 and 4 in box 9. So we have marked all places where 7 could go. Let's get to 8s now. 8 is in column 2 and 3, so that puts an 8 here. 8 is in row 4, row 5, but it has 3 cells, not marking that. And there are no other boxes where we can mark the digits into 2 cells. So the final digit 9, 9 is in column 8 and 9, and 9 is in row 4, so that gives me a 9 in column 7, which forces a 1 in here, and that gives a 1 in these 2 cells in row 6. And 9 is in these 3 cells, 9 is in these 3 cells, 9 is in these 3 cells. So everywhere I look, there are many options for 9, multiple options. So it's time to start making center candidates. So let's start with column 2 because we have 6 digits there. So these 3 cells must be a 3, 4, 5. And if you look closely, you have 4, 5 in row 8. So this is a 3, and which in turn this gives us a 4, 5 pair in column 2. But that's a dead pair because we have got all the other digits. Okay, let's look at row 8, 1, 4, 5, 3 and 7. So I need 2, 6, 8 and 9. So this can't be 8 or a 9. So this will be a 2 or a 6. This will be 2, 8. This will be 2, 8 and 9. And that is not an 8. So this will be 2, 6 and 9. So the most important rows in this grid, as you will see a little later from now, are row 2 and row 8, sorry. So before I continue explaining about this, let's make some pencil marks in here. Look at this cell. This cannot be 1, 2, 7, 9, 3 or 8. So it is 4, 5 and 6. This will be 4, 5 and it can't be a 6. So it's an 8. Okay. So I made these pencil marks. So the next thing I spotted when I was solving is I spotted the next 2 deductions relatively faster, and then I got stuck. So I'll explain what I spotted. So the first thing I saw was, if you look at row 2 and ask yourself, where does the 6 go in this row? I should remove this box. So this cell and this cell are the only 2 cells which can take 6 in that row. And similarly, if you look at row 8, we have 6 in exactly the same 2 columns, column 3 and column 8. So this is an X swing. So which means that 6 can be eliminated from all of these cells. The deduction is simple to see because for this row, if you have a 6 here, then for row 8, 6 is forced here, and which means all the blue cells cannot be a 6. And now if you see the opposite, for row 2, if you have a 6 here, all the blue cells cannot be a 6 still, and in row 8, 6 is forced here. And again, the blue cells cannot be a 6. So this is called an X swing. And this allows us to eliminate some pencil marks. So let's remove from this cell. It cannot be a 6. So this is a 2, 4 or 5. And this is a 2, 4 and 5. If you look at this column carefully. And this cannot be a 6 already, so there is no sense in marking this. Now let's move to this cell. It cannot be 1, 2, 7, 3, 6 and 8. So 4, 5, 9. And even this can't be a 6. 1, 3, 7, 8 and 6. So 2, 4, 5 and 9. Okay. This can't be a 6 anyway because of this, and this can't be a 6 anyway because of this. Okay. So this is the first thing I spotted in this grid, an X swing on 6. Now, you'll be surprised to know that in the exact same 2 rows, row 2 and row 8, there is one more X swing. Look where the 8 goes in those rows. You'll notice that 8 has only 2 cells in row 2 and row 8. The highlighted yellow cells, because 8 can't be here. You have an 8 here, so 8 has only 2 options. And similarly in row 8, 8 has only 2 options. So which means that the same thing that we did with 6s applies here. All these green cells cannot take an 8. And now that gives us a gorgeous pair in box 5. 8 is eliminated here, 8 is eliminated here, 8 cannot be in the green cell. So that gives us a beautiful pair in row 4. This becomes 6, 8. Pairs are the building blocks of a classic, you can say. And so if I continue along this direction, this can't be 8. So 1, 6, 9, 3, 7 and 8. So this is 2, 4, 5. And this can't be 1, 2, 3, 8, 6 and 9. So 4, 5 and 7. This has way too many possibilities, so I'm not going to write anything in that cell. and this is already not an 8, so it makes no sense. So let's leave that there. Look at this cell, can't be 1 4 5 6 8 9, so 2 3 7, and this cell 2 6 7 and 1 3 and 8, so this is 4 5 and 9. So this was the second thing I noticed, and after this point it was a big thing. I could not see anything at all. I did some coloring with these things 4 5, and something was going on here, but I could not get anything concrete. So the step which I'm going to explain was very difficult for me to see, and it took a bulk of my time. And the way to see that is, I'll tell you, I'm going to say that 2 must be in one of these two cells. The reason is, it's like really sharp to see. If you don't have a 2 in one of these two cells, look what happens. This becomes 6, this becomes 8, and what does that do to these two cells? 8 gets removed here, 6 gets removed here. So you have a 4 5 pair, and that is directly looking at this cell. So which means that there must be a 2 in these two cells. This took me a huge amount of time to deduce, and if you saw this any faster, then you must really be an excellent classic Sudoku solver. It's a really tough deduction to see, and that's why I said this is a tough classic, and there are even more tougher deductions which we will come to in shortly. So which means that this cannot be a 2. So that gives you 4 5, and look how beautifully that has given rise to a pair in row 7. So an excellent one. So this is not a 4 5 now, so that's a 2 and 9. And now if you look at box 7, you need a 4 5 in one more cell, right? You have a 4 5 here. These cannot be 4 5. This cannot be 4 5 because of this pair, and which means you must have a 4 and 5 here. Now let's make some coloring. This is red, this would be the opposite of that, this will be the opposite of that, this will be the opposite of that. Okay. And after this, again, I had to think briefly, but not as much as my first long think. The next important deduction here is same, more or less same as this one. Look at these two cells. There must be a 4 or a 5 in one of these two cells, because if not, just the same way, it's the same idea as that. If you don't have a 4 and 5 in one of these two cells, this will be a 6, this will be 8. Look what it does here. Both of these cells become the same digit. Because of the 6 here, this will be 2, and this cannot be 8, cannot be 2. So this is broken. So which basically proves that one of these cells has to be a 4 5, and one of these cells has to be either 8 or 6, as we just saw. Because if not, then you have 6 here, 8 here, and that breaks the puzzle. So one of these cells is a 4 5, and either of the other cell has to be either 8 and 4 5, or 6 here and 4 5 here. Excellent, right? So which means we can mark that there is a red 4 5 in one of these two cells, and that gives rise to more deductions here. 3 6 8, so that's a 3 8, that's a 3 6. Beautiful. Okay, so let's continue here. And look at this cell. This is going to be 2 6 and 9 for the box. You have 1 3 7 8 here and a 4 5 pair, so which means this will be 2 6 and 9. Now if you look at the green cells, where does the green go in box 4? There is only one cell left. This would have to take the green and consequently become a 4 or a 5, and which means these three cells must have a 2 3 in them. That removes the 2 here and gives me a 2 in one of these two cells. But you know that we have reduced a 2 in here, because if not, this is 6 and that's 8, and this breaks this area. So that's not a 2, and that's not a 2. So that is a 2 now. So the 3 in column 3 must be in one of these two cells. It can't be anywhere else. I was just trying to recollect what I did here. There was something which was really tough to find. Yeah. So look at the green here. The green can't be in row 4 and the green cannot be in column 8. So the green has to be in one of these two cells. I mean, it's not really tough if you look this way, but in the context of the Sudoku, not knowing what to look for can make this harder. So which means that the green in this column has to be in one of these three cells. It cannot be in row 2. So either this is green or that is green. And now we can build on this deduction. So in box 3, we have narrowed down 4 cells, out of which 2 will be 4 and 5. So none of these cells can be 4 or a 5. So they can't be 3, 6, 7, 9, 4 and 5. So they must be 1, 2 and 8. And you have 1 here, so this is not 1. 8 is here, so that's not 8. Okay, where does the 1 go in column 8? There is only one cell, so this must be a 1, and that puts my 1 in row 1 into these two cells. And if I look at this cell, it cannot be 1, 3, 9, 2, 4 or 5. So that is a 6, 7 or 8. Excellent. So what have I got here? I got it. So you have a quadruple in here. We know that these three cells must be 2, 3, 4 or 5. And if you look that in conjunction with row 9 column 1, there is a quadruple. So which means that 2, 3, 4, 5 are eliminated and 1 and 7 are already as present as given. So this must be a 6, 8 and 9. And given that you have 6 here, this cannot be 6. So that's an 8 and a 9. Yeah, so this was the second most difficult deduction according to me in this Sudoku, an extremely tough one. And that went about when I started thinking along this chain. Look what happens very closely. I'm highlighting those cells as pink. If this cell is an 8, this will become 9, this will become 6. It's easy to see these things. Now, where does the 6 go in row 8? 6 would have to be here. I'm going to highlight that cell as pink. At this point, you are getting to the contradiction. So when you have a 6 here, this becomes a 4, 5. And because you already have an 8 here, this also becomes a 4, 5. The pattern which we exactly want to avoid, because then this becomes a 4 or a 5. We have deduced that one of these cells must be a 6 or 8 and one of these cells must be a 4 or a 5. If you start out with an 8 here, then both of these cells become a 4, 5. An extremely tough deduction, you can say. I didn't see anything better at this point. So which means this cannot be 8. So that is a 2. And that puts a 2 in box 6. Gives a 6 here. Gives 9 here. 8 here, 2 here, completes row 8. That 6, that 9 gives a 6 here. That becomes an 8, 9 now. That is a pair, 8, 9 pair. Okay, so 9 is removed here. A 4, 5 pair, so this becomes red. This will be a 3, 6 pair. I have a 6 here. So that's 6, that's 3, that's not 6 anymore. So 6 in box 3 has only one cell left, 6 goes here. And that gives a 7 now, 7 goes here, so that's not 6. This is not 2. So green can be removed from the 7. Now 4, 5 pair, so that's 8. And that cell is not a red anymore. Okay, so 8 here gives me a 3 here, that's a 3. That's not a 3, that's 2, 7. Excellent. Now, these 3 cells can be filled in. They must be 3, 4, 5. And column 9 can be filled in. It must be a 7, 8 pair. You have an 8 here. So that is 8. That is 7. That becomes a 2. So these will be 3, 4, and 5. Okay, look at this cell. It cannot be 1, 7, 6, 8, 9. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2 and 3 are eliminated. So that's a 4, 5. And that becomes a red because it sees the green. This is not a 4, 5. This is not a 4, 5. That becomes a 3. That becomes a 4, 5 and gives a red in there. Okay, so this will be 2, completes the row, and this becomes a 3, 4, 5. Okay, and red must be in one of these 2 cells. And look, where does the 7 go in column 5? There's only one cell left. 7 goes here. And now look where the 9 goes in column 5. 9 cannot be here, so that's a 9. That completes the column. This must be a 4 or a 5 and gives a green here. Okay, so where does the 2 go in box 5? There's only one cell left. 2 has to go here. That gives a 1 here. This makes it a 3, 9 pair. Oops, sorry. I pressed something, guys. I don't know what I pressed. 3, 9. The windows completely got minimized. So this is not a 3, that's a 4, 5. And it has to be a red, so now this is a 3 and loses its color. That's the red now. That's a green. Cool. So this can be filled in. You have a 9 here, so that's a 9, that's an 8. And if you look at row 1 and look at this cell, this is a naked single, it cannot be 1, 4. So this would have to be a 5. That gives a 4 as the red cell. So which means all the reds now can be blindly filled as 4. All the greens will become the opposite of that and become 5. And row 1 can be completed. That's a 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 1, 5, 9. So this becomes a 4, 8 pair. And that 4 resolves that 4, 8, 8, 6. Okay, this must be a 3, 4. That can be resolved instantly. 4 and 3. Look at this row. It needs 7 and 9. 7 goes here. 9 goes here. 9 goes here. 3 goes here. 3 goes here. And 6 goes here. I missed these. So this is 5 and that's a 4. And with that, I've completed this gorgeous Sudoku by Sktx. No doubt an extremely hard Sudoku to solve if you're looking for the logic. I'm not sure how it was rated only 3 stars in LMD portal. I do not agree with that. It is much harder than that, but a really interesting solve, I would say. Hope you enjoyed watching me solve this Sudoku. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and remember to subscribe to the channel and do support us on Patreon. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.